1, 2, 3, 4.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now.
What up, y'all? It's Babylon 5 Podcast. It's your boy. It's Jermaine event, ladies and gentlemen. How have you guys been? How's your week been? I hope your week has been phenomenal. My week was not the greatest. As I said last week, I was like, I feel like I'm coming down with a cold or some shit. Turns out your boy had the flu. Alright? Turns out your boy had the flu. After all, I'm like, I think tomorrow I'll be able to go back to work. I'm feeling the most back to normal that I have this whole week. Wednesday, I was at work, what was it? Either Wednesday or, no, I was there Thursday. And it was the absolute worst. I kept thinking I was going to just puke all over the stuff. I was going to puke over everything, man. And then I had the chills. I was sweating. I had a fucking, headache. My back was hurting. My arm just right above my elbow. Just, some pain came out of nowhere that day. I was, going through it that day. Went to the fucking Minute Clinic at CVS, because they'll give you the results right away. They'll give you the flu results in 20 minutes. They swab you, put it in a machine. 20 minutes later, it was positive for influenza A. It gives you the results right then. I just mentioned that because someone at work who said they were going through similar symptoms went to their physician and their primary physician, and they were they're gonna call me back either today or tomorrow to let me know if I have the flu. And it's damn, it's gonna take that long. Hit the Minute Clinics at CVS. The whole point is to get you in and out results as fast as possible. So I found out right away, fuck, I have the flu. So then they gave me an inhaler and shit. And then I got some cough drops and all that shit, and I was just trying to sleep, but nigga, that was it was the toughest sleep I ever took, nigga. I felt like I sweat my body weight out. I just couldn't really get comfortable at all. If I moved just the slightest, half an inch, that part of the bed is now too cold to touch. I was freezing if I moved out of place, but I'm sweating my ass off, and I have to. I was sweating so fucking bad. I was like, dude, this'll be the day that I fucking die. I was listening. I think I mentioned it. Joe Rogan and I think Louis C.K. were talking about how when you're not sick, you take it for granted of feeling good. That's just normal. You just feel like you do every day. But when you're sick, you can't think of anything but just not being sick. You're just fucking miserable. And that's exactly what it is, man. It's crazy because I was thinking that, yo, you for real? When I was watching it, I was like, that's true. We really don't appreciate how good it just feels to be able to just go and do normal everyday things. And then you get hit with this flu, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? I'm winded from just going from here to there. Right, that's when on Sunday when I was feeling a little winded, just doing regular ass shit, I was like, oh shit, this is kind of like what happened when I had COVID. You know what I'm saying? When I had COVID, it was, I started getting winded, just doing simple ass shit. So I was like, damn, do I got COVID again? Turns out, well, yeah, I had a home test, took that. It's not COVID. And it turned out to be the flu. But if I could tell you niggas, them effects that I felt were pretty similar. If anything, that flu, nigga, the way I was just sweating, a fever you can't sweat out, my nigga, way that I was sweating that night, nigga, I thought I was about to die. Y'all talking about, oh, it's just the flu. Well, if that shit is just the flu, nigga, I thought I was gonna die off of the flu. Don't come at me with that shit. It's fucking tough if that's the case. All right? It's fucking tough. This is episode 181. I'm calling this bad boy no promo. I still got a little bit of still been coughing a little bit here and there. Still been coughing. I actually was brushing my teeth earlier. Well, I was rinsing my mouth out, and then it was like real metallic-y flavor, and I'm like, that's weird. Tastes pretty bloody, and then I blew my nose earlier. That was pretty bloody. So your boy's dying, essentially. Could be. I don't know. But it was like, I was like, damn, now why is it all coming up bloody right now? But that's life. That's what all the people say. Hopefully this ain't the last podcast. But this is episode 181. As I said, we're calling this bad boy no promo. As a shout out to the upcoming UFC 284, which basically has no promo, but is headlined by one of the biggest fights in UFC history, I would say. Because, you know, it's their pound for pound list. You have number 1, Alexander Volkanovski, moving up in weight to fight number 2. Just that fast. Number 2, Islam Makhachev. That's not for promotional sakes, is it? It can't be, because then they were like, we don't need to... It must be, no, actually. Because they felt like they didn't need to promote the fight anymore after that. Like, it's just going to sell themselves. I saw, it was maybe Terrence McKinney, or no, it was Bilal Muhammad posted. That Volk and Islam is next week. And I was like, holy shit, it is? I didn't even think it was happening so soon, based off of the promo you're getting here. So I'm calling this bad boy no promo. As we've seen online, if you guys are on MMA Twitter, pretty much the promo for this fight has been people like me complaining that there is no promo for this fight. That is the promo for this fight. So we're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on Bellator 290, that of which I could witness. I'm old, I think. Because I just saw somebody say that they had the same issue. And I'm sitting here last night like, fuck, I can't figure it out. How do I watch CBS? I'm like, I don't have, like, well, I say I don't have regular channels, but then Spectrum scammed me into a fucking bundle that I never signed up for. They were like, oh, it says here that you signed up for this bundle. I was like, no, I absolutely did not. And I was because I was like, no, I signed up for this on this date, not on that date. So there's no way that those can be bundled because it's like a month apart in which I done that. And they're like, ooh, I don't know what to tell you because you wouldn't have got this rate if you didn't have the bundle. And I was like, nah, because, nigga, like, nah, because I signed up for that other shit and got that rate before that other shit even. It is what it is. But Spectrum played your boy, and they were like, "We're sorry. I guess you can go watch TV with or get internet from some of our fucking competitors. I didn't watch your fucking channels. What the fuck am I gonna do with channels, nigga? I don't want to watch it as it is. I don't want to watch TV as it is. I just want to watch, like, fights and... You know, I like NBA news more than... more than I like watching basketball games. So we're going to talk about Kyrie Irving a little bit here. We're going to talk about the Tough. The next season of Tough. The coaches have been announced. It's going to be pretty interesting. And as I said, we're going to talk about UFC 284, headlined by Islam Makhachev, versus Alexander Volkanovski. Just some more fights on there. Of course, you got the co-main event, Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett for the interim belt. They're fighting for the interim belt for the chance to fight Volkanovski after his fight with Islam. Because I was going to say if he fails here, but he said if he beats Islam, he wants to defend both belts. So that would be so interesting. That would be very interesting to see. He would be the GOAT if he was successfully defending both belts. If he beats Islam, I'm getting ahead of myself. I love this sport. If you guys would like to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You guys can email this podcast at Babylon5Podcast@gmail.com. If you guys would like to hit that like button right now, I'd appreciate it so much. It takes you a second, but it means the world to your boy. If you guys would like to watch, if you guys would like to follow this podcast on Twitch, watch your boy play some games. I didn't even know they came out with that Undisputed. I saw somebody tweeting about it, and I was like, that boxing game came out? I just saw a trailer for it like a week ago, and it's already out? I thought it was going to come out for like another 6 months or something. It's already out? I'm late on all this shit, but I'm probably trying to see what that's like online. Well, now, I don't know. I'm sitting here like, nah, niggas have already ran up the rankings and all that shit, but it's not that deep, my nigga. It's not that deep. Follow your boy on Twitch at twitch.tv/BabbleOn5. If you guys would like to cop some merchandise, head on over to teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. And lastly, don't just be my niche, be my patrons. Head on over to patreon.com/BabbleOn5Pod. All right. You guys had enough of that? All right. Or Bellator, that is. Sorry. Pardon me. Pardon your boy. Bellator 290 Bader versus Fedor 2. And as I said last week, the first fight ended in 35 seconds. Bader knocked out Fedor in 35 seconds the first time they fought. And I said, well, I'd probably predicted to go pretty similar, if not worse, being that this is like 4 years later, 4 or 5 years later. Bader's fucking 46 years old. This is a retirement fight. Like, I was like, it's probably not going to go well for him. And he got TKO'd. He was just winging fucking right hands, just trying to catch Bader. He looked like Derek Lewis out there. All right, he looked like Derek Lewis out there, and we'll get into that later. But he was just trying to catch him with this big punch. It just wasn't working. He was getting beat up. He's 46 years old. He beat up a 46-year-old fucking man. All right, you guys let the legend of who he used to be, all right, still sell tickets somehow, but yeah. He lost in 35 seconds the first time he fought. He's 46 now. What did you, like, I'm sure, and people were like, oh, it was so hard to see this happen. What did you think was going to happen? The man's 46 years old. But happy trails to Fedor, the Emperor. Oh, they had a fuck ton of legends in there. And Chael Sonnen. They had a lot of legends in there. A lot of legends. I don't believe Chael was UFC champion ever, right? I'm pretty sure he wasn't. Does that make this? Is that the end all be all? You gotta be UFC champion because Fedor wasn't. Anywho, if that's not the end all be all, then why niggas shitting on Chael? I seen niggas shitting on Chael for being in there. Like, if we talking about Bellator, he's I don't know, man. Chael's the only nigga that can work for UFC and Bellator at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Doing promo for both companies at the same time. usually fucking Dana be like, shut that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Don't be talking about other niggas. I'm the only nigga you talk about. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of nigga Dana White is. That's the kind of nigga Dana White is. But Chael's the only nigga that can do it. He's a legend. Happy trails to the Emperor Fedor. Also on this card, I was saying last week, I was real hype. I was very interested in Max Rashkov. I wanted to see how his career progresses. And he looked pretty good early on in the fight. And then he got caught with a punch on the top of his head. And that just, like, fucked up. He just a bing. You know what I'm saying? His equilibrium was off. And, like, as he backed up, he, like, did, like, a little chicken dance. He couldn't get his balance. And then the guy came in, I believe caught him with a hook to the top of the head again because Max kind of went down and it kind of just grazed him. But then that one just, like, tucked him to the ground. He fell. Like, his arm was, like, stiff behind him. And then the guy's just coming in, grounding, pounding him, man. He looked great up until that point. So fast recoveries to Max Rashkov. I'm still interested in what happened. He looked great up until that point. He looked great. He did this, like, slick, like, takedown. Like, I've never seen anything like it. And the guy he's fighting, Chris Gonzalez, congrats to Chris Gonzalez on the victory there. But when Rashkov tuck him down with this, like, shoulder dip shit, and, like, homeboy Chris had to, like, spin out of there, kind of, like, it was a crazy scramble. And when they got up, he, like, gave him props, like, yo, that was crazy. Even the commentator is like, yo, that was crazy. That was insane right there. I'm sitting there like, what was that? I've never seen anything like that. All I'm saying is Max Rashkov looked great up until the point where he got finished. He looked great up until that point. He kept coming forward. That pressure was all over Chris Gonzalez. He was mixing in the grappling. He was doing what he needed to do, but he got caught. It fucked up his equilibrium, and he couldn't. He was doing the chicken dance at that point. Chris Gonzalez came in and finished him. So speedy recoveries to Max Rashkov. I'm still very interested in what happens with this man's career. All right, with his career. Shout out to Bill Heath. Shout out to Bill Heath. If you guys have ever seen Nathan For You, if you haven't, there's the dude, Bill Heath, an old man, and he's obsessed with the one that got away. To explain Nathan For You wouldn't even necessarily explain this episode because it's completely different because he's usually helping struggling businesses on Nathan For You, but in this episode he's helping this old man find the one that got away. And I love the way Bill Heath talks. And they're like, what happened, Bill? And she said you wanted your career. You wanted your career. So that's why I say career like that. Just had to explain real quick. If you niggas don't watch Nathan For You, I don't know what the fuck you're doing with yourselves. It's a great show. Followed by The Rehearsal. Shout out to the young man who we saw at Maharaja. My wife and I were picking up some food at Maharaja a few weeks back, and young man who was bringing the food out was like, he saw my jacket, which is a Summit Ice jacket, and he's like, oh my God, I just finished like that show. I just watched it. He's like, if you were here a week ago, I'd have no idea what that jacket was, but I'm hype that you're wearing it. I was like, hell yeah. You know, if you guys don't know, the Summit Ice, see, it's a lot to explain with this TV show. The host, Nathan, is Jewish, and he would wear this jacket, Tyga, from the brand is Tyga. And then he saw that, like, in a magazine, they posted a tribute to, like, some, like, Nazi sympathizer. And when they emailed them and asked for like an explanation, they like refused. They like never responded or some shit like that. Or so then he decided to like never wear that brand again and made his own jacket, which is Holocaust awareness material, Deny Nothing, and I think the proceeds go to some Holocaust shit. I don't know, some shit with the Holocaust. You got to watch the show. They explain it. But that's what my jacket was. And, yeah, homeboy saw it. Y'all should go watch Nathan For You. It's a just phenomenal TV show. But speaking of phenomenal TV show, potentially, that's a nice little segue. I didn't set that up like that, but I'm happy it happened that way. They've announced the new coaches for The Ultimate Fighter. Who watches The Ultimate Fighter? Jermaine watches The Ultimate Fighter. Especially like a few years ago when we had Leah Letson on there, who's from Milwaukee. And I root for Milwaukee people. Happy trails to Leah Letson, who recently announced her retirement. Says she just doesn't have it. She doesn't have it in her like she used to. I mean, she almost lost an eye in the last fight. I would probably not have it in me. Anyway, she got her fucking ass beat. When they announced Leah Letson versus Felicia Spencer, I was like, holy fuck. She's about to take that Amanda Nunes loss out on her. You know what I'm saying? And she did. And then retired. I was like, whoa, Felicia just damn near ended this. You just ended her whole career. All right? You just ended this lady's whole career. And then you was like, yep, I'm done. All right. I mean, I guess there's nowhere to go from there but then back to Nunes, who needs to fucking retire. As I'm saying, who watches The Ultimate Fighter? I think this season most diehard fans will watch this season of The Ultimate Fighter, and you'll get a lot more casuals watching this upcoming season of The Ultimate Fighter, as Dana White just announced that this next season's coaches will be Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. And then the two of them will fight later in the year. And they're focused, looking at September. All right? They're looking for Conor McGregor to fight Michael Chandler in September, ladies and gentlemen. That's got a headline. You know what I'm saying? God damn. I kind of want to be there, but at the same time, I don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because I almost went and saw Conor fight Cerrone, and I really wish I was there. I was just looking at how big fucking Cerrone is compared to Conor, and I was like, I don't want to be there for this. And then he smoked that dude in 44 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I don't want to be there. Then he reinvents like fucking shoulder strikes. Changes the game. We saw some shoulder strikes last night. A la Conor McGregor. Devin Clark was throwing in these shoulder strikes. Shout out to Devin Clark. Looked great last night. But, you know, Conor reinvented the shoulder strikes. This fight here, all right, Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler in potentially September. Fuck, bro. I think this is a bad matchup for Conor McGregor. And if I can be frank, honestly, I think most people in the top 15 right now are a bad matchup for Conor McGregor. Unless Tony Ferguson is in the top 15. Otherwise, I think everybody in the top 15 is too much for Conor McGregor today, man. And I'm not just hating on my boy Conor. I would love for Conor to go in and smoke Michael Chandler. That would be phenomenal. If that's what happens, there would be nothing that warms my heart more. And it's not anything against Michael Chandler. Conor is one of my goats. You know what I'm saying? Like, just as everybody was sad to see Fedor lose, I fucking scroll past anytime somebody posts like a gif of Conor getting knocked out by Poirier. I don't want to see it. I don't like to see Khabib beat Conor. You know what I'm saying? Like that third round, I thought Conor was gonna do it. Conor was stuffing them takedowns in the third round. He was hitting Khabib. He won that round on all judges' scorecards. He won that round. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want Conor to lose at all. I wanted him to lose against Floyd Mayweather. That's a fact. That's my all-time boxing GOAT. Definitely didn't want him to beat Floyd. My point is, when I saw Henry Cejudo, he was posting about, he pretty much highlighted the regression in Conor and how he strikes now, as opposed to how he was striking on his like meteoric run. And he was so patient and like just upright. Well, just not upright, but just like patient and then like counter. But this one, he's like overextending. He kept overextending. When he got caught by Poirier, his body was like all out like this. He's like leaning over just like on one foot. His boxing is his striking completely regressed from who he was when he was the man, when he was doing magic out there. He doesn't box the same. I think he needs a new gym. All right? He's at SBG with these people. Khabib was talking shit leading. He's like, you got these little kids coming in. Like, it's like 18-year-old, like, Irish, like, national team boxers. And, like, Khabib's like, you got these little kids coming in here. You're training with little kids. And we're seeing how sloppy his striking is now. Like, I think there's more credence to what Khabib was saying about him training with these little kids. You know what I'm saying? And how we're seeing the striking. And do I see Conor bringing some kind of problems to Chandler? Maybe. I don't think he's Michael Chandler. I mean, if that left hand connects from Conor, you know, he can knock most people out with that. But as I'm saying, his striking has regressed. The way he throws that punch is different. It's not the same. He doesn't have the same mechanics as he used to. So I think this is a real bad fight for Conor. At this point, I say they take out Michael Chandler and put in Bobby Green. And I'm not even saying he necessarily wins that matchup. I'm saying at this point in the careers, that's a more balanced matchup. Is Conor McGregor versus Bobby Green, or even like go a little bit lower than that. He needs to start from the bottom and grind. You guys let that man stay in like the top 3, top 5 for forever. And then when he comes back, he has to fight these killers. Why? Have him fight Terrence McKinney. Oh, is that fucked up? Is it? Is it really fucked up for him to fight somebody like Terrence McKinney? What do you think would happen if Conor McGregor fought Ishmael Bonfim, the dude that just knocked out Terrence McKinney? I don't think that'd be a good fight for Conor at this point. From what I've seen, he needs to switch camps. I'm gonna watch Tough, and I'm gonna watch this fight, but I don't think it's a good fight for Conor, and I don't think most people in the top 20 are a good fight for Conor. You think Conor would do good against Mateusz Gamrot? You think Conor would do good against fucking Beneil Dariush? Ooh, that's a bad fight for Conor. That's a bad fight for Conor. And then 170, man. I don't know, man. They're all grapplers up there. I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll watch it, but I think Conor needs to switch camps, and he needs to switch a lot of things up, man. And he needs to switch up the people he's around. Jesus Christ, man. I don't need to see another fucking accusation. Jesus. Cheese and crackers. You guys see that allegation with Mike Tyson? There's a woman who claimed he raped her back in the day. Which isn't fucking... You know what I'm saying? He fucking went to prison for raping a woman back in those days. I heard he had to have security stayed outside of his room so that he wouldn't go out and have sex with someone, which I was like, I don't even understand what the fuck that means. You know, like, what does that mean? He had to have security outside his room so he wouldn't go have sex with someone. And that's around the time he committed the act he went to prison for, so we'll see what happens. This could be, me saying that right now might be the first time a lot of people are even hearing that, or first time 6 to 17 people. Might be the first time 6 to 17 people are hearing that. But my point is, I just need the niggas we idolize to do a little better, because y'all tripping. Y'all niggas tripping. UFC Vegas 68, headlined by Sergey Spivak versus Derek Lewis. And as I said, since they announced this fight the first time before it got canceled, Sergey was going to go in there and just ragdoll this boy. And he did. He did. He went in there. Lewis was just trying to throw these right hands. No setup. No jabs. Just throw the right hand. I'm just going to hopefully pray that I land this fucking right hand and knock him out. No setup. He doesn't really box at all. He just throws that right hand. Sergey got in for the clinch, did the hip toss, and just started beating him up on the ground, going for submissions. Derek Lewis would try to get up, and Sergey would basically let him get up, take the body lock, just drag him back down to the ground, just slamming him down on his head. He was literally ragdolling Derek Lewis. I said this wouldn't be close. I've said for so long that Sergey Spivak, I said last week, he is the most underrated heavyweight in the UFC. He fucking ragdolled ranked number 7, Derek Lewis. All right, he just ragdolled that dude. Didn't he already ragdoll Taito Ivasa, who I believe is ranked higher than him? He got ragdolled by Tom Aspinall, as I said, and I was fucking shocked. I was shocked. Yeah, he ragdolled Taito Ivasa, choked him out in the second round of their fight. Dude, how did he lose to Walt Harris? See, this is like back in the day. These fights he lost made no sense to me. But after the Tom Aspinall loss, my nigga Sergey has stepped up to another level. Well, every other fight we've seen, he's stepped up. His striking has gotten better. He's just looking great these days. And as I've said, he's just the man. All right? He's a problem. They ask him who he wants to fight next. He's like, what, if I call out John Jones? You think they're going to give me John Jones next? And they're like, well, who do you want? He's like, I want John Jones. Hell yeah, Sergey Spivak. He's like, I want John Jones next. He's like, sorry, I respect you, but I'm coming for that. I'm coming for you. So Shout out to Sergey for doing exactly as I thought he would, which is absolutely dominate Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis has basically no he doesn't have the grappling to the level of what I've already seen from Spivak. With those hip tosses, the way he just, the body lock and pulls you down like that. I was like, there's nothing Lewis is going to be able to do to stop any of that. And he wasn't able to stop any of it. We didn't need to see that fight. Derek Lewis was getting he didn't land one punch, I believe. He was not able to land one punch. Well, he doesn't set anything up. He just throws a looping right hand and he prays that it lands. My boy Blagoy Ivanov got fucking ripped off by the judges. I don't understand it. Like, cause like some judges scored all rounds for Tybura, and Blagoy was lighting this boy up with combinations, and he had Tybura real hesitant, like early on in the earlier rounds, and then in the third round, Tybura takes him down and grapples him, doesn't get the finish, and even the commentators are like, Tybura needs a finish here. Like, you're down, you're clearly down. He's like, you're most likely down 2 rounds, what the commentators are saying. So he knew he had to take him down and look for a finish here. But some of the judges gave all 3 rounds to Marcin Tybura. This is fucking nonsense. The judges hate Blagoy. That's it. He won that fight. He won that fight. Shout out to Devin Clark. He looked great. He showed a new toughness that I feel like I've always seen. It's usually lacking out of him when he fights. He had this new toughness about him. It was if the aggression I hear from his father, let's go, Devin Clark. You got 1 minute left, Devin Clark. It's like that aggression finally came out in him. Because when he fights, all you hear is his father screaming from his corner, let's go, Devin Clark. Like, it's fucking awesome. But he finally showed the same aggression that his father displays when he's yelling at him. And he beat Daun Jung. He looked great. He looked great in there. Shout out to Devin Clark. I was counting him out. Duho Choi versus Kyle Nelson. I picked Kyle Nelson to win. That fight ended up in a draw. There was this road to the UFC tournament going on. I didn't know. I was pretty unaware of that, but there was like a lot of road to the UFC finals in this card. There's a guy from India, second fighter from India in the UFC, wins the lightweight road to the UFC tournament. I believe. I don't even know. All right. This guy, Rinya Nakamura, beast, knocks this Toshiomi Kazama guy out. Like, just slick, just sharp-ass boxing. They're like, yo, this guy's a wrestler. But nobody gives him the chance to show that he's a wrestler because he just fucking knocks them the fuck out. He's got a lot of finishes. I think, he's 7-0, 6 finishes, 1 decision. All right, Rinya Nakamura looks like a beast. And I'm not trying to hate when I say this, but he was fighting another person from Japan. And all I'm saying is, I don't think the UFC and all that, their style, well, it's just different. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but when a lot of these fighters will hear, like, oh, they're pretty high on this guy at the UFC PI over here in this country. And then they come over here, and they're just getting their fucking ass beat immediately. And you're like, whoa, you guys are saying this guy had amazing striking. And they come over to America, and they're fighting against people outside of that little gym there. Because outside of that PI, who else could they really be sparring with? You know what I'm saying? Who else is there really for them? Because they're just starting this shit here. They're trying to, like, build this up over there. So He looked like a beast, but we'll see when he gets out here, man. Somebody else who looked like a beast, fucking Tatsuro Taira. Taira. He looked like a fucking beast. His jiu-jitsu was so slick. I was worried about this fight because I picked Taira, but the Jesus Aguilar guy, he has a real good guillotine, real slick guillotine. So I was like, as far as like DraftKings rosters, I was like, I'm going to stay away from this, but I picked Taira on my card to win that fight. And right away, Aguilar, this is the first fight. It was a great fight to start the card. Aguilar hits Taira with this leg kick. It kind of spins him, and then like he rushes him, gets into the clinch, and then boom, gets that fucking guillotine on him. Hits him with the guillotine. It's deep. He's going for it, but Taira stays calm and is able to pop his head out of there. And then before too long was able to lock up a triangle on him and then grab his arm and then go for the triangle armbar combo. And while he had that locked in, right, the one arm that should have been free was tied up in the fucking triangle. It was tied up with the leg, so he couldn't even tap. The guy had to scream, tap, tap, tap. Like, it was sick. All right? It was sick. My only thing here, right, I'm saying, like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, because I would say Tatsuro Taira, the Aguilar guy, he's out of Mexico. He was much bigger than Taira. I'm saying these guys over here from, like, Japan, Korea, and all, they're relatively smaller guys. Other than, like, Jun Young Park, or even Daun Jung. Daun Jung 6'4", and he's just a big-ass fucking dude. But these other Duho Choi and all them, Choi looked like he put on some muscle. But these younger guys, who this road to the UFC guys, these guys are pretty small. Pause. Except for the Indian guy, Anshul Jubil, or Jubli. Anshul Jubli. He's a pretty big dude. He's a pretty big dude. No, it was a hype ass card. I really wish it wasn't so fucking late as it was. Shit didn't start till like 9. I was watching Bellator, I believe. Shit didn't start till like 9, I believe. Yeah, so I was up till like 2 o'clock in the morning watching these goddamn fights. Mercifully, Spivak finished Derek Lewis in 1 round. He's ready to go to bed. So next week we have, as I said, no promo for this fight. Number 1 versus number 2 pound for pound list. 2 apparent best fighters in the world, if you ask the UFC. And they fight each other with no promo. Islam was like, yo, we could have did a world tour for this, and he probably should have. Seeing as you're number 1 and number 2 on their list, champ status. But no promo. We're going to get Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski, and it would be phenomenal if Volkanovski wins this fight and defends both featherweight and lightweight belts. That would be phenomenal. That'd be a great thing to happen. You know, that'd be it'd be like, this is why we love this sport. It'd be one of those moments if Volkanovski wins this fight, but I just don't know. You know, Islam was saying, he was like, Australia doesn't have wrestling, so I don't, and then, Volkanovski was like, I don't need wrestling, I need takedown defense. And the takedown defense we've seen from Volkanovski hasn't necessarily been that amazing. Hasn't really been that amazing for folks. We've seen Chad Mendez take him down multiple times. I've seen when I saw the video, when I'm looking at, I saw the fight live, but just in context of right before this fight, there was Brian Ortega who was able to trip him out pretty easily. It's some similar things that Islam likes to do. And Islam, as we've heard from multiple people, is just superhuman strong. He's been taking them vitamins since he was like 10 years old. Superhuman strength. I would love for Volkanovski to win this fight, but I just don't see it happening. I think we're going to go with, and still, Islam Makhachev. Also on that card, we have Yair Rodriguez fighting Josh Emmett for the interim featherweight belt. And I think this fight is going to look pretty similar to when Yair fought Korean Zombie. And with that, I believe it's going to have a similar outcome, and that is victory for Yair Rodriguez. I feel like Emmett's going to try to keep that pressure on him and try to overwhelm him, but Yair is going to have those spinning elbows and all. He's just going to keep striking, as we saw when he fought Zombie. Zombie tried to stay on him with that pressure, but he just kept throwing nonstop. You know what I'm saying? And that's he's going to be there, just slicing Emmett up. And I think he's going to get a decision victory. I don't think he finishes Emmett, but I think he's going to win via decision. So I'm going Yair here. Another fight on this card that I think is pretty awesome, pretty interesting, is Jack Della Maddalena versus Randy Brown. All right. I don't even know who wins this fight. I mean, the favorite in this fight, Jack Della Maddalena is a huge favorite. Dude, his striking is beautiful. He's so powerful when he throws those strikes, dude. His striking is beautiful. He just finished Danny Roberts. He finished Ramazan Ameev, all first round. Pete Rodriguez. See, this is my problem here. Who the fuck are these guys? I know Danny Rodriguez. I'm just saying, who the fuck are these guys? All right? Who are these guys? Randy Brown on the other side. Just finished Francisco Trinaldo. He beat Chaos Williams. He beat Jared Gordon. He's pretty small. Alex Oliveira. Lost to Luque. Beat Warley Alves. Beat Brian Barberina. Nigga, what I'm saying is, I feel like Randy Brown has faced tougher competition. I know Jack Della Maddalena has the hype, but he's got the reach and height disadvantage here. And, man, I just say, this is a crazy fight right here, okay? I don't know who wins this fight. This is a great fight right here. This could steal the show. Jack Della Maddalena versus Randy Brown. I'm real hyped for this. As you see, Randy Brown there with 5 sub victories. He's not afraid to go to the ground. And Jack Della Maddalena is more so, 11 knockouts. He wants this to stay standing. This is going to be a great fight here. This is going to be a really great fight. Or it could be a real quick fight. I think it's going to be just interesting, but I think this could be... I want to say fight of the night, but I think they're going to automatically give it to Islam versus Volk. Even if Islam walks in there and just takes him down immediately, chokes him out in like seconds, which is a possibility. Even if he does that, they're going to be like, that's fight of the night, Islam. We don't want to make Habib upset. We don't want to make Habib upset. You know what's interesting? Who's becoming one of my favorite basketball players? Like, I don't watch a lot of basketball these days. Not like I used to. If anything, I pay attention to more basketball news. And this guy right here, Kyrie Irving, is now, if not one of my favorite players, I'd say one of the most interesting players in the NBA. We all know what happened earlier this year. We don't need to rehash on the hypocrites and everything. Still never protested Amazon, but they sure enough protested outside of these basketball games. My boy, Kyrie Irving, he's just a man of principles, man of principle. I fucks with Kyrie. He stands by his shit. Somebody's got to. We live in a world where just having a different opinion than whoever the fuck is the majority of the people in that fucking small area is a crime. You know what I'm saying? Remember when this nigga said, maybe the world is flat? I was like, what the fuck? I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I think it was Kyrie who said it. That was like the first time I had ever heard niggas thought that way. I'm like, what are you talking about? We've been told that, didn't you? I'm like, nigga, didn't you hear that the entire planet thought the world, like everybody knew the world was flat. And then a nigga went to go find the edge or some shit like that, and then he didn't fall off the edge or some shit, and he was like, oh shit. Or what's the story they told us? The nigga was trying to find a different route to India and was like, oh shit, nope, the world's not flat. Is that what they told us? It's some weird stories. I don't know what they told us. It's a random little storybook story they told us. But all I'm saying is, like, damn, didn't you hear that story in school? That the world once thought that way and then this guy changed it? Didn't you hear it? So my whole thing is, like, when I hear these differences of opinion, I'm like, shit, let me look into why these people think this way. And that's why I fucks with Kyrie. I fucks with Kyrie hard, baddie. Okay? He's a man of principle. He's always just been true to him. I thought what the issues were, so they offered him a contract, but with the stipulation, Brooklyn offered him an extension, but with the stipulation that he only gets the full dollar amount if they win a championship. All right, he has to guarantee that the Brooklyn Nets will win a championship, or he just doesn't get paid. To me, that's absolutely obnoxious. I would understand if, like, 5 teams won a championship every year, then you could be one of 5. But you're like, nope, we're giving you a contract for 2 years, this amount of money, only if you're one out of 32 in the next 2-3 years will you see this money. That's pretty obnoxious. You could make it stat-based. Make it, like, be in the top 10 in assists or some shit like that. Drive the game, but, like, to say you only get this amount of money if we win a championship, it's pretty obnoxious. So Kyrie is looking to relocate. He's looking to go elsewhere. He said he will sit out the rest of the season if they don't trade him. Pretty much everybody wants this nigga at this point. You know what I'm saying? Even the fucking Dallas Mavericks are like, yeah, we'll trade for that dude. And it's like, but isn't Mark Cuban Jewish, and wasn't he pretty vocal about Kyrie like 2 months ago? Yeah, we'll take that guy. We'll still take that guy. It's like, no, wait, y'all were just saying, fuck that dude. He shouldn't be in the NBA. No, it's almost playoffs. The playoffs are coming, sir. All right, so you can shut that shit up right now. That was the beginning of the season, and we didn't know if we needed him or not. But now that we see how useful he can be, let's just forget all that shit and trade him to my fucking Jewish-owned team. Even though we were just saying he shouldn't be in the NBA like fucking 2 months ago. The same owners, nigga. are now saying they want Kyrie for their team. So I'm curious where this man will go. I mean, it's more entertaining, I guess, to some people if he goes to the Lakers. For me personally, I think I would love to see him either go to the Clippers or the Miami Heat. Those are the two squads I'd like to see Kyrie go. If not Milwaukee. That's where I would like my boy Kyrie to go. No, this town is it's too much milk over here for Kyrie to come to Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? It's too much milk over here. They can't have Kyrie over here. They gonna lose their fucking minds. Kyrie a real nigga. I fucks with Kyrie. I'm just real curious where he goes, man. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite players. Probably one of my favorite celebrities, if you will. If I can like a player for more than just accolades, my nigga, then I'm a huge Kyrie Irving fan. I'm a huge Colin Kaepernick fan. He just dropped some shit he produced about it's some town, and it's about how the cops are just like killing everybody. It's like mainly white people, and it's about how the cops just keep killing everybody in this town. There's all these incidents, and it's like one cop like, yeah, I'll admit that I think I crossed the line. I'm like, oh shit, how did they let Kaepernick put this shit out? He put out a show about cops killing people. I was like, it's crazy. It's on Hulu. Y'all go ahead and check that out if you need to. And if you guys need to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You guys can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. If you guys would like to, hit that like button. Anywhere that you're listening to this podcast, I'd appreciate it so much. Give it 5 stars if they do that someplace where you're living. Just go ahead and give it like a million and 1 stars if you feel like you can. If you guys would like to follow this podcast on Twitch, head on over to twitch.tv/Babble5. If you guys would like to cop some merchandise, head on over to teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. And lastly, don't just be my niche, be my patrons. Head on over to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod. You could be my patron today. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's episode 181. No promo. Hey, no promo, but this is going to be a good-ass fight card. That's the joke there. No promo. You know what I'm saying? That's the joke. Anywho. Thank you guys for being here another week. See you guys next week unless I die. You know, I could fucking die today. Who knows? This could be, you'll never even hear this. But, yeah. Thank you guys for being here another week. As I said, I'll see you guys next week and we can talk about these fights. I'm going to try to set up some kind of, if I stream, maybe through OBS if I can, I'm going to try to stream and watch the fights with you niggas. Because this is a big-ass fight. So, Volk versus Islam. As I'm saying, Jack Della Maddalena, Randy Brown, that's a huge fight right there. Yeah, so I'm trying to watch at least the main card with you niggas. All right, I'm going to try to set that up. And as I'm saying, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for being here again. Hope you're taking care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll holla.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now.